everybody, it's Phoebe from Quilted Pig, and I know that most of my videos show the camera is actually just attached to the head of my quilt machine, and so you just see me stitching. But I'm working on this project that has a million little bitty triangles, half square triangles, and so I thought I'd show you the easier way that I trim those off. So you can see this is the block, this is the Lemoyne Star, so each of these squares is half square triangles. So I'm going to show you an easier way to trim it up, just so you can see how I do it, and it saves a little bit of time. Most people will use one of the handy little tricks for doing it. This one I was using the square, and then you draw the line down the middle, and then stitch on a 1/4 inch side of each of the lines, and then you cut down the middle. So we'll just stick it over here. And the nice news is the cut down the middle doesn't have to be exact. So you can do it with a rotary cutter or with scissors. Now, a lot of people will still, sorry for the shake on the camera there. Most people will do that and then flip it open, press to the dark side, and then trim out all 4 corners. But a really nice lady at Guild taught me how to do this, and it makes it to where it's less steps. So that's why I like it. And you get a nice, pretty little square in the end. So what we'll do, I've cut down the center, and then I have my stitching that's approximately 1/4 inch on the side. These started out as a 3-inch square, and we're going to cut them down so that when they end, they're a 2.5-inch square to put them in the block. So to do that, we take this. Now my ruler has a 45-degree line on it. This one happens to be a 6.5-inch square ruler, but I know that my bigger ruler for cutting strips also has a 45-degree line, and that's really all you need to make this work. So we set this, the triangle here, put the line for the 45 directly on the stitch line. From there, we need it to come out to, because in the end we want it to be 2.5 inches, come out to the 2.5-inch line at least that far on the edge. So you can see that this is directly along my stitch line. I don't know how zoomed in that is, but this goes just a little bit beyond the 2.5-inch line, and you can see that I've got some overhang here. So at this point, it's still folded up. I'm not having to worry about the middle getting wonky or anything like that. So I'm just going to come over here and trim that edge off. An advantage of doing it like this is you also get rid of the mouse ears at the same time. So then we flip it around. Okay, so at this point, the corner of what we just trimmed, where we trimmed off that mouse ear, and this other little business here that didn't slice quite all the way. Okay, so that corner right there, we'll line it up directly with the 2.5-inch corner, as well as also lining up the stitching with the 45-degree line. So we'll get that down here. Line it up at the corner, that cut edge that I just made, and give it just a little bit of a twist. And I can see that part of that didn't trim off right, so I'll go back and trim it in just a second. But the main point of the story is to line up your stitch line with that 45-degree line. And hopefully did a little better job of cutting. So I can flip it back around now and retrim that edge that I tried to adjust with the scissors but did not get done well. And it won't matter how much is on this side of the seam line, because that's just your seam allowance. You're just looking to trim off what's outside so that when we fold it open and press it, we will have the correct half square triangle. So if we come over here, let's see, we've got pink and polka dot green. I'm going to press towards the pink. We just open that out, give it a little zhuzh, press it open, and it's square. So you can see I didn't have to dance all the way around the square, just the two different cuts. So I'll do another. This one is the same, from the same set. So again, I'm lining up, making sure that the 2.5 inch line over here is inside, and that the line for the 45 degree is along my seam allowance, or oh, excuse me, along my seam line, exactly. Cut that, cut that, get rid of it, flip it around. Again, now at this point, instead of just being within the fabric, this line at the 2.5 needs to line up exactly to it. So line that up exactly. Cut off that little tail. Let's see, I went to the pink on the last one. Just give it a little press. And now we'll have the correct pieces to make this Lemoyne Star block. So we'll just do one more with a different color so you can see. Well, here's one that I've already trimmed. This one is red and white. And I know these colors look crazy together. It's a Christmas quilt, and I'm actually making 3 of them in 3 different colorways. So I've got pink and spring green, red and spring green, and red and traditional green. Okay, so here's one. You can see sometimes when you're sewing that triangle down there, it'll scooch and get off, and it's not square anymore. And that's why doing this little trick actually helps a lot, because again, you're just basing it off the seam line. So as long as your seam line is straight, your square will be straight. So I'm going to make sure that little green that's sticking out over there, I want that all the way inside the 2.5. Just to make sure, and this is a white on white thread on white fabric, so I know it's hard for you to see specifically, but I'm making sure that this is lining up exactly on the seam line. And then this, the green overhangs a little bit, but if you were really up close here, you could see the white overhangs a little bit here. But doing this little number is going to trim all that away, and it will be square in the end. Do a little bit of that, spin it around. And like I said, you can see that little green nubbin over there. Again, line this up on the seam line. On the seam line exactly. Cut edge that we just cut is here. The corner where we cut off that little mouse ear is here. To me, this method, because you're not pressing it and then trimming it, there's a lot less chance to accidentally like distort the seam line as you're going, and you don't have to trim every single side, you just trim the 2. Being very careful, not putting a lot of pressure on it, just scooching it over there and telling it that's where it should hang out for a little while. So you can see how that works, and then when you sew them together, they go together so much easier, and you get nice matching points. So anyway, if you like the video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come back for more. Thanks. Bye-bye.